Right, Rob?
Very much so. Just needs to stay healthy.
94-92. LeBron James and AD, they combined for 52 and 21. Dennis Schroeder with 12 and 6 assists. Lakers sweep the road trip. Let's hear from Frank Vogel. We speak with Mike and the media on Zoom.
Hey, Frank, is there anything anticipatory about games staying relatively close, fourth game on the road, and then LeBron and AD kind of carrying things to a victory? Is there anything about that formula, or is that just kind of how things turn out sometimes with the way that they play?
Well, I think, it's in some ways how it turns out. I think we're managing their minutes more early in the game and, willing to, extend them a little bit in the fourth quarter. And, I think that's why you're seeing us separate in the fourth. But, certainly we got to play better than we did tonight, in particular, closing that game once we had that lead. But overall, 4-0 in a trip, can't be unhappy about that.
Yeah, Frank, and this may be tricky to answer early in the season, but any reflections on what it's like having a 4-game trip in these circumstances versus what you would traditionally and how you saw that play out in games, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different dynamic being in the same city for as long as we were in San Antonio and now here in Memphis. And it's a different dynamic playing the same team 2 times in a row. And, I just want to credit our guys because it's easy to have a letdown, when you're playing a team that wasn't in the playoffs last year that is missing key guys. And, credit the Grizzlies for playing 2 really hard games, the Spurs as well. But also credit our guys for, playing through all that stuff and, continue to work to get W's. So it is a little bit different.
Dave? Frank, kind of following along the same lines of what I asked you pregame, we got word from Allison early on tonight that Nina, your trainer, wasn't going to be with you guys on the bench. And what's it like taking that news real time, disseminating it to your team, and maybe not knowing what the next steps that will follow that come with that will be? Yeah,
that's such is life in the pandemic. They have protocols in place to keep us all safe. And, when something's out of place, something like tonight happens and we all just got to have a roll with it type of mindset. The good news is Nina has cleared protocols and will be able to travel back with us tonight. So, like I said, it's just part of life in the pandemic is there's going to be people, staff, players, coaches, whatever, at any time, pulled from their responsibilities. And, we just have to have a next man up type of mindset.
Kyle?
Hey, Frank. Just LeBron's fadeaway shots, the spin away shots at the end there. I think certain maybe metrics tell us that maybe that's not an efficient shot, but when LeBron takes them, how much confidence do you feel in those situations that it's going to find a way in?
I have a lot of confidence in LeBron James in the fourth quarter. I don't really know any other way to say that. I trust him. We coach him to make the right reads and feel the game out and point out things that may be there that I'm sure he's seeing, but just to make sure he's seeing, and that's why he's great. He finds a way to make those elite superhero types of plays. Our focus is on making sure that we don't need those superhero types of plays, to close games out. But, sometimes you do, and it's great to know that he can rise to the occasion the way he did.
A couple more. Dan?
Right, kind of not really a basketball question, but there's a ton going on in the world right now. Obviously, a runoff election in Georgia, the police officers in the Blake shooting not being charged. I'm just curious. LeBron has his hands in so many of these different things. Do you ever marvel at his ability to compartmentalize and perform when obviously, there's a ton of stuff that he's interested in that's going on elsewhere in the world?
Yeah, of course. He's obviously one of the most impressive people I've ever been around. And, I think what you just alluded to is one of the ways that makes him special, his ability to compartmentalize, but also to have an interest and a care factor, in those other types of things going on in the world, and to be able to have his mind on some of those things and still perform the way he does, part of what makes him special.
Yeah, question by Dan to Frank Vogel about the James Blake officers not being charged, and of course the election runoff going on in Georgia. We've all been following that, and just kind of puts you back to there's other stuff going on more than Laker basketball, and we know that LeBron and his teammates have been at the forefront of it and using their platforms, James. And you've said on many occasions how proud you are of these guys.
I am, and it's going to be a continuation, throughout the NBA. What they've started this year of being conscious about what's going on outside of the game. Basketball is what these guys do for a living. It's not really who they are. They are a part of the community. They are a part of social justice, and it's nice that they have a voice. And I think what they've started, I think we're growing to something larger for the NBA. They'll have a bigger voice, and I think it's a great thing that they have that voice. I'm very proud of what they've been able to do this year.
Yeah, I'm extremely proud of them because there are a lot of times, if you think about it, James, it was moments when we played where we couldn't touch subjects like this. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like you touch this subject, you might get blackballed. But I'm so happy that these guys have the platform and they're using this.
Came to play. He was big in crunch time. 10 three-point attempts, by the way, for AD. That's a career high. He hit 40% of them. He's 4 for 10. He had 26-10, 4 assists as well. So AD doing it all tonight, Rob.
Yeah, he had a plus 12, and that's what you want to see out of your guy. Even though if you really think about this, like he had no offensive rebounds. That's the only thing you can really say bad about his game. Shot a lot of threes. He was on the perimeter now because he had a taller guy that he can go around, use his guard skills, and use those against him. But tonight, to me, he should have been more aggressive. He only shot, 3 free throws in the whole game, and one of those was a tech. And you in a game like this, in the grind-out game, you got to attack the basket, get to the rack, and try to go to the free throw line. He's too talented to waste all his talents just sitting outside the three-point line.
James, you said it before the game ended. Lakers were in cruise mode. You just have to look at the free throw attempts to kind of know, especially when you see your star players only getting 2-3 attempts. But in the end, you saw AD turn it to another level.
Yeah, and it's dangerous to flip that switch, but they know they can do it. And the thing about AD is he's not going to give you the same stats every night. Sometimes he'll give you big rebounds, but he's always going to give you something that is going to be impactful for the game and help the game to win. Obviously, he didn't get to the free throw line tonight, shot threes well, hit some buckets down the stretch. But in the long run, he's one of the best free throw shooters in the league. So I think that's a good start for him to get to the line, get other people involved. But I think tonight was one of those nights where he used his talent. He had LeBron to win a game. You're going to have those.
And Ali, you are going to have nights like this, and it's your defense that has to carry you, and that's where AD has kind of put his stamp on this team. We saw it when he came in day one, media day, said, I want to win Defensive Player of the Year. 3 blocks, 3 steals. Impressive company right there.
This is why we all love to hear when he sat at his first press conference and was introduced to LA, and they asked if he would play the center position, how he felt about it. And he said, I will when you need me to. Because when you get rid of guys like Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee, and you don't have that rim protection, but you can turn to a guy like Anthony Davis who can defend from the perimeter all the way back to the back of the rim. And then you pair that, because I loved how Mike Trudell pointed this out, you pair that within LeBron James barking out coverages, you become tough to beat because you know what they're going to do on the offensive end of the floor, but it's a total package with the two of them. And in closing situations, they've showed up.
It was exciting. I remember when the Lakers traded for AD, we talked that entire offseason leading up to the season and then obviously the bubble. When the Lakers take the floor, they're always going to have 2 of the 3 best players. AD and LeBron are always going to be there. And that's something the Lakers just didn't have during that tough stretch of years. They'd come close, just like Memphis tonight, but they don't have the closers. I feel like I've done that Memphis show 6-7 years strong with all you guys right there with me. But now you're on the other side of it, and you have LeBron and AD. They score 15 points in a row in the last 3 minutes down the stretch to just separate that game, James. That's the ability they have.
It makes a big difference when you have those type of players every night. And if you don't have one, you can rely on the other. And most of the time, you have both of them together, which makes it almost impossible to stop them when they have complete role players around them. That's another thing that makes closers that more special, when they are capable of enhancing everybody else around them. So, but you're right. When you need it, we had Kareem. We know we had that sky hook. We had Magic. You know, Rob had Akeem Olajuwon, you know, Shaq and Kobe. You always feel better when you have a closer that can win games for you.
It's always key when you got someone you know you can go to down the stretch to get a bucket or create a bucket for someone else, because that's what it's all about, because guys like that are going to demand a double team. And it's up to those guys to find those guys that are open so they can either knock down a shot or make a pass to another guy to knock down a shot. Key shots.
Yeah, and you look at both their numbers, Ali, LeBron James with 26 points as well, 11 rebounds. The combo there, when they reach those kind of numbers, Lakers rarely lose.
Can we talk about how LeBron himself was 5 points, 2 of 8 at the half, and he finishes with that line right there. You know, we just heard AD be a bit animated in regards to getting back to LA. You said I think the team probably wanted to come back at halftime.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to bet that LeBron James at halftime knew that what he gave in the first half, if they wanted to come away with the win, needed to be that much better in the second half. And obviously we saw that. Obviously, though, I was talking about something earlier. You know, when you came here, we started winning. So you don't know that we could actually, the three of us could fly to Memphis right now and do their show and know exactly what to say. I'm just surprised again.
Good young core, giving everything we had. Bench was great tonight.
Yeah.
Came up short.
Gave a lot of effort.
Gave a lot of effort. Get him next time.
Yeah, fans screaming at you on Twitter. We could do that show in our sleep. Right, Big Game?
Absolutely.